Hello everyone, welcome to the new video in the series of complete guide to Roam in Android. And till this video we have completed the UI of subjects module, in which we have the subject listing screen and subject details screen, which is used to add a new subject and also used to see an existing subject details. So in this video we will complete the navigation between these two screens and also reflect the new inserted subjects and updated subjects info list in this subject listing screen. So right now we have so we will work in this way. In this screen, when user tab on this Fab button, then user should be navigated to this screen to insert a new subject. So let's go to this subject screen. Okay, and from here we need to we haven't defined actions for this screen, so let's create a sail class here. Actually this would be a sail interface, and in this we will create a data object fab on click, and in our subjects view model here we will create a method named as onAction, which take the subject's action as a parameter, when condition action, and press Alt Enter to add the remaining branches. And here we have this fab on click. Now when user tab on this fab button, then we need to write a method which would be triggered and navigate the user to the next screen. So in our subjects content, here we have this floating action button and this on click. We will here define a lambda function named as onAction, which take subject action as a parameter. OnAction subjects action dot fab on click, and remove this error warning here in this preview method to pass this onAction and provide the empty function to this. And in our subject screens here we will call our view model onAction method. So in this way this onAction parameter will become the parameter of this onAction method. So in here we will create a call a method named as fab on click. Press Alt Enter, create this function, and from here we want to perform the navigation from this screen to this screen, and then we cannot perform the navigation operation from our view model. We need to pass some event to our this UI screen, subject screens, and from here we will pass that event to this place and use this nav controller.navigate to perform the navigation. So for that, here in our subjects view model, here we will for subject screen we define some events which will be sent from this view model to this subject screen UI. So we will create a interface named subjects event. This would be sealed interface, data class, navigate next, and pass the route app screens. Okay, and now in our subjects view model we will here define a shared flow. So all events is equal to mutable shared flow. Subjects event, and make a immutable version of these events. And now in here we will have the route app screens dot add subject, and create a new event which would be subjects event.navigate next and pass a route in it, and then emit the event in this mutable shared flow new event. As this emit function is a suspend function, so we can only call this from a suspend function or within a coroutine. So we will wrap this function into a coroutine. So view model scope dot launch, and okay, and now we will go to our subject screens. Here we will create a lambda function named as navigate next, pass the app screens as a parameter, and now we need to call this method whenever this event is triggered. Whenever any event is triggered in this event's mutable shared flow. So in our subject screen, here we will use launch effect view model dot events collect latest, use when condition here and press Alt Enter to add the remaining branches, and currently we have only one branch. So now here we will call the navigate next method and pass the route in it. And in our main activity where we have the complete navigation graph with different screens, here we will provide the uh, function for this lambda function navigate next. We have the route here, and call the nav controller dot navigate next navigate method and pass the route in it. So yeah, this is the way where how we will define the uh, navigation of this fab button. So let's run and see the effect. So our app is up and running. Actually, we haven't changed the default route. We go to our we are at our main activity, and in here we will provide the default route subjects and run the app again. So if we tab on this fab action button, then we will be navigated to this screen. So now we will complete the operations of this flow first. So let's say when we tap on this fab button and provide the new subject information by tapping tab on save, the new added subject should be shown in our listing here. So first of all, I will decrease this number of uh, dummy subjects. So in our subjects model, we have this dummy get dummy subjects method. So I will set this to limit to from 20 to 3. So in this way we will only see 3 subjects here. Now when user is navigated to this screen, then we need to add actually let's first see how we are showing this list. So in our subjects view model, we are getting the list from this method, but we need to define some data source from where we will get and insert or update the subject's information. So right now for testing purpose, first we will store that data in in-memory array list. So in our project we have the app state object class which we have already used in previous videos for subjects. Now we will use these methods for the actually in previous videos we used this for students, and now we will use these methods for the subjects CRUD operation. So I will rename these variables subjects. Actually, by pressing Shift F66, we will be able to see this dialog, rename dialog. So press refactor and call the get dummy subjects method, and we also need to change the return type at some places. So subject model, And here we are seeing this error that this add method doesn't exist. This is because we have this subjects list, which is an immutable version. So we need to get the array list from here, so we can insert or update subject in it. And so now what thing left? I will rename this to subject and also rename these methods get subjects. Actually don't we are not using it, so I will directly rename them. Okay, now we will call this method in our subjects view model. So f state dot get subjects, and in our add subject, whenever user will enter the subject's information by tapping on save, we need to insert that subject. So in our add subject view model, here we have this method save on click, in which we are creating this subject model object, and we just need to call the f state dot insert subject, yeah. So now let's run the app and see these changes. Okay, so currently we have 3 subjects here. If we tap on this one, and let's add an O subject with credit over 3 by tapping on save, this new subject have been showing here. So if we again add another, let's say calculus, and credit hours are 4 by tapping on save, this new subject is showing here. Okay, so now we need to work on this option that when user tab on any subject, then that subject should be reflected on this screen, and whenever user done any changes, then after pressing the save button, that new changes should be reflected in here. So for that, we will go to our subject section. Here we will define another action, which would be a data class item on click. In that we have the value subject model, and in our subjects view model, in on action method we will press alt enter, add remaining branches, and here we have this item on click. Now in our subjects content, we need to pass that action. This is our list item, so here we will have, say, on click, on action. Actually we haven't passed action to this list. We have on action in here, so we will pass the action to this subjects list. So on action, define this lambda function here, and in here we will call this method subjects action dot item on click, and pass the subject in it. And in our list item we will define the lambda function on action, actually on click, and now this should be triggered when user tab on the card. Okay, and in our, so we have passed the action when user tab on this on click. Here it is, on this on click, then this lambda function will be triggered, and this action will be sent to the subject's view model. So in here we have this branch, and in here we will create a method named as onClick. Pass the value on it, press Alt Enter, and from here we now need to provide to the navigation, which we already have done, and we also need to pass some information from this screen to the add subject, that this subject is selected and should be reflected on the add subject screen. So for that we will go to our app screens. Here we have this add subject, which is a data object, and we are not passing anything in it. Now we need to pass the information to this screen. So we will make this data class, pass the subject ID in it. By default it would be -1, and from here we will actually use parentheses here because now it is an class, and here actually I will do it from scratch. Let's say route is equal to app screens dot add subject, and pass the subject ID in it. New event would be subjects event dot navigate next, pass the route, and events dot emit new event. And now, as this is a suspend function, so we will wrap this into our coroutine. View model scope dot launch, and now in our add subjects screen we need to populate that selected subject information. So in our add subject view model we will pass a parameter in our constructor of this view model, private val saved state handle. So this saved state handle will contains the parameter information which we have sent from the previous screen. So in our init block we will call a method named as handle nav arguments, navigation arguments. I will use a complete name here. Press Alt Enter, clear this function, and in this, actually this should be all arguments. In this we will get the ID. So subject ID would be save state handle get. We are expecting integer, and this would be the string which we have this ID would be name would be used as a key, so we will use this key here, and we are expecting a nullable from here. So if it is null, then we will use else operator and return from here. And next is we will get the subject model. So app state dot get subject, pass the ID in it, and again we are getting the nullable object from here, and if it is nullable then we will use else operator and return from here. And at the last, if it is not null, then we will update our UI state dot value dot copy name subject model dot name credit hours subject model dot credit hours, and here it's providing the integer value, and we are getting we will need a string value here, so we will convert it to string and update the UI state dot update new UI state. And we also have the ID which we need to retain. So here we will create a private data member subject ID. By default it will be -1, and we will set this subject ID here, so later we can use that to update this record. And now we will go to our this save on click method, and in here we are setting this value ID to -1. So here we will use the subject ID, and we use a if condition. If subject dot ID is -1, Then we will insert the subject, and if it is not -1, then we will have appset.update subject, pass subject in it. Okay, so all the implementation have been done, so let's run and see the changes in our app. So if I tap on this subject, we are seeing the information here, so I will change the name of the this just add the dash update in it. Pressing on save, that information has been reflected, and if I update the credit hour to, let's say, 5, and this is also reflected. Now we have completed the navigation between these two screens and complete the add new subject and update an existing subject flow. Next, we need to define a home screen for our this project. So where we user have the option to navigate to the students module or to the subjects module. So for that, here we will create a package named as home, and in that we have home screen. Here we will create a composable COMP and press tab home screen. Call the home content composable from here, and in here we will create another package named as components and create a file home content, and in here we will use column modify. Actually we will create the screen like this, so students and subjects, so we will use a column here and then use these two buttons. So fill max size, vertical arrangement with the center, and in here we have button on click, students, and add some padding here, then dp, and again another button. So I will copy this button here and name it as subjects, and also add some padding, horizontal padding, so 20 dp. So now let's see the preview in the project first. And also see the preview. Before that, we need to import it in here because we will get a warning if we try to build the project to see preview. So now again go to this screen and split the view and build and refresh. Okay, so we have these buttons, and these should be shown like this. So for that we will use fill max width for each button. So modifier fill max width, and same for this one. Okay, and now we need to define the actions for this screen: subjects, students and subjects on button on click. So here we will create a interface home action. This would be a sealed interface. In that we will have two actions: data object students button on click, control D, and subjects button on click. And now we will create the view model for this screen. So create a new file, home view model. This would be a and and extend from view model. Here we will create a public function named as onAction, which take home action as a parameter. Use when condition action, press alt enter, add remaining branches, and now we will pass these actions from the screen. So in the home screen we pass the view model as a parameter to this function, and call the onAction method against onAction lambda function. So and now define this onAction in this home content, onAction home action and unit. This is the lambda function, and now we need to trigger this actions from here. So onAction home action students on click button on click, and onAction home action subjects button on click. And now here we will pass this lambda function here, and go back to our home screen. So we have done this onAction bar, and now go to our home view model, and in here for the students button on click, press alt enter, create function, and in here we need to perform the navigation from the student screen to the from this home screen to the students listing screen. So we will define the route app screens dot students, and we need to trigger this navigation from this UI thread from UI side. So we will define the events which will send from the view model to this home screen. So here we will create another interface, home event. This would be a sealed interface, and in that we have data class navigate next, route as a parameter, app screens, and extend from home event. And in our home view model we will define a shared flow here, private wall events, immutable shared flow, and home event, and create an immutable version of this events dot as shared flow. And now we will create a new event named as home event dot navigate next, and pass the routes in it, and now emit the event in the events shared flow. So emit new event. As this emit is a suspend function, so we will wrap this in a coroutine. So view model scope dot launch, and we will do same for this one. So for subjects button on click, press alt enter, create this function, copy this code of log to actually this portion, paste it in here, and in here just need to change this students to subjects. And now in our home screen we will listen these events. First we will create a method named as navigate next, which will be a lambda expression, and pass a route which will be a app screens, and in here we have a launched effect key true, and view model scope dot events, actually view model dot events collect latest event, use when condition, press alt enter, add remaining branches, and from here we will call the navigate next method and pass the event.rouse in it. And now we will go to our app screens. Here first we will create a home screen. I will define it at the top of this file. So data object home app screens, and in our main activity here we will set the default route or start destination to home, and here we will define also add home screen to this navigation graph. So composable app screens dot home and home screen, navigate next, route, and nav controller, navigate, and pass the routes in it. Okay, so now let's run and see these changes in our project. Okay, so our app is up and running and we are seeing our home screen. So if we tap on this student screen, we will be navigated to this student screen, and if we tap on this subject screen, then navigated to the subject screen. So yeah, this is it for today's video. I hope this would be a meaningful information for you. So thank you for watching. Bye.